I have a full-time job that's been consuming me, and I'm training for an ultra, and I've kind of kicked this can down the road, and now it's like I really want to jump in and, you know, get more clients. I have a couple clients, but I want to, really focus on it. That's why I'm here.
Cool. Yeah, well, welcome. Glad you're here.
Thank you for letting me. This is a great opportunity, by the way.
Cool, cool. Well, I'm glad you're taking advantage of it. Myra,
Good morning. I wasn't here last week either, but I had the chance to go over the recordings and your notes, and I appreciate a lot. It was so what I wanted. And Sean, thank you so much for, creating this opportunity for all of us. I'm from Western Canada, from Victoria, BC, and it's really morning for me, like beautiful time, 8 o'clock in the morning. I've graduated from Pacific Rim Holistic Nutrition Program 2 years ago, and I wanted to focus on oncology nutrition. So I also take another program, like 250 hours of oncology nutrition, and it is done in midsummer. And I had my certification, certified holistic nutrition certification in February. So I'm ready to be out there. But what I realized in the past 2 years that I am doing everything that I can not to be out there. Like I'm focusing a lot of on things that really doesn't matter to get my first customer, but to look good. Like, of course, website is important, and I focused a lot on my website. I'm so proud of it now, but I could have done other stuff when I'm, doing that as well. So this is why I'm here. And the notes that I put on the Google Doc is in fact what I gained from your insights as well as my input from our last session. There are
cool.
lots of things that I want to understand, like some of them I know the answers or I guess, like, how many products or how many services should I be, putting out there? But I want to have your opinions and your approach to these kind of questions as well.
Yeah,
Thank you for
yeah, we're
having me.
gonna we're gonna dive in. This is gonna be awesome. And I think there's one more new person on the call, Mary Parr.
Well,
Welcome,
good
welcome.
morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mary Parr. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I'm not sure what question that you asked, but I'm just going to, um, introduce myself as that Mary Parr, personal trainer, 15 years, entrepreneur. Um, I went back to school to Purdue University after 27 years at 45 to get my degree, mainly for stability, to enhance my career and pivot. The pandemic showed me the direction that things were going to go, all that good stuff. So that's pretty much what I have been doing. I'll be done November 25th, graduate with my bachelor's in nutrition. And so I'm super excited about that. And then I have a birthday coming up. I'll be 48 in November 8th. So yeah, I think that's what you wanted. So I'm
Cool.
here to um, see what this brings. I'm just, new to this. So I'm not sure what to expect, but I am very open and optimistic, and I'm always willing and ready to learn. So nice to meet everyone.
Yeah, this is fantastic. I'm glad you're here. And welcome everybody. So just to sort of recap rules, they're not rules, but I think ways that we can make this as productive as possible.
Okay.
Shada has created a Google Drive. I linked the Google Drive in the meeting invite, and so feel free to go into that Google Drive and like add questions or situations or things that you want to talk about. I think that'll be good for us to kind of use to structure the arc of the call, so to speak. If there's anything that you want to talk about or any, thing that you want to bring to the conversation or ask a question about, put it in the chat. Make sure I'm aware that it exists and I can like weave it into the narrative of the call. There's probably too many people on the call to like hyper focus on every single person. And so my idea is that by using the sheet, we can put together a call that answers almost everybody's questions in the input while doing a few deep dives into individuals that have specific questions. So a lot of the mindset, like mindset, pricing, all sorts of these higher level questions can be answered through working through specific problems and opportunities. So without further ado, Lee, I'll kick it over to you, and I want to learn more about this group program you're launching.
Okay, thanks. I'm happy to start actually, because I had a question about a group program that I have totally sketched out only because I've done them in the past, and so I was able to not reinvent the wheel. However, I think my question has evolved to something new because have you heard of Andrea Nordling, Sean?
I haven't, no.
Has anybody heard about Andrea? So, okay, so Suzanne, you have, and Shani. Oh, you all have. Okay, so she has a business. I think it's called The Profitable Nutritionist. Is that right?
Oh,
So
I've heard of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So she's actually really good, and I started watching one of her very long video presentations this week after sketching out the whole group program. And one of the things that she says is, don't start. Now, I'm not really starting from scratch because I worked in a practice for some time, but I'm sort of starting from scratch, like with just being on my own. And she said, don't start with like the cheapies, like with the big cheap group program. First, you need to land that client that's paying you a ton of money for like a big package. And I'm like, wait, I'm doing it completely in reverse. So I'm confused now. I still feel my gut is telling me still to move forward because I think this will help me to get a couple of, maybe at least one or two like one-on-one clients because I have a large list. But Sean, or does
Yes.
anybody have any opinions on this? It's a different question than.
No, this is the perfect question to ask. So I am a huge believer in starting with one-on-ones because it allows you the opportunity to really understand each individual problem and then assemble all of the individual problems into a meta solution. And that's a group coaching program. Okay, so I like I'm at call it year 3 of this entrepreneurial nutrition mentorship, and like what I've done here is I've made a group of people who are looking to find initial traction. And I'm at a point where I feel like I can confidently provide value to this group because I've talked to hundreds of you people, right? And it's like I've heard over and over and over and over again 100, 200, 500 unique stories about struggling to get traction that I start to see the through line between all of them. I start to see the meta problem, above the individual problems. And so this is true for your clients. This is true for your practice. The gym that I run in DC, our overwhelming avatar is the Capitol Hill mom and dad. I can tell you everything about the Capitol Hill dad. It's like he's got back pain, knee pain. He can't lift his shoulders over his head. He wants to lose weight. He wants to be a little more active for his kids. He wants to be, around a little bit longer. He's not really going to change too much on the diet and lifestyle front. Like he might cut back drinking just a little bit, but like good luck trying to get him to like really lock in on his diet. And if I put him next to a 25-year-old guy, he's going to like kill himself to try to keep up because in his brain, that's what he thinks he still is.
You just perfectly described the one Capitol Hill dad I do know.
I know all of them.
Yeah,
you
might know him.
And the Capitol Hill mom has her avatar type. And so like the only reason I know that is not because of market research, not because of, like asking ChatGPT, not because of thinking, but because I've like lived talking to them for 12 years. I've met thousands of Capitol Hill dads, And so the reason I love one-on-one, like start with one-on-one, and presumably this is what Andrea would agree to as well, is that if you start one-on-one, you can listen to one person's problem and you can feed everything you can into solving that one person's problem. Group solutions are too vague unless you have a ton of information to make group solutions extraordinarily valuable. The thing that I want everyone to focus on is that your success is directly tied to the value that you offer to somebody else. How do you price your program? I don't know. How valuable is your solution to that person? Right? If, some of you on this call, I've talked about Corinne. So Corinne has a successful practice. She helps moms whose kids have eczema, young kids primarily. Like, if you're a mom with a young kid who has eczema and the kid is like scratching through their skin and like in complete misery, you're going to do everything in your power to help your precious little child. Like, you're desperate for a solution. And when you're desperate for a solution, that's a lot of value that can be offered with the solution that you give. And so that's what we're all trying to figure out. We're all trying to figure out, where are the frustrations that people are experiencing that don't have a great solution to them? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. As you were talking, I sort of had this tiny revelation that I think I want to do this group program because I'm not saying I'm moving forward with it, but I think my motivation for doing it is that I think for me, it's a bit of a marketing tool that I need.
And that's what I was about to say. So
Yeah. Okay.
once we have our individual service figured out, how are we actually going to help people? Like, not that small group programs don't help people, but like, how are we going to deliver the service that actually gets people long-term results? Let's call that our one-on-one, customized program. What does that look like? What I personally love is something that looks like $200 to $600 a month. You get everything I got, because I don't know how to go, I don't know how to coach you half-ass. I'm going to give you everything I have, every resource I have at my disposal, every connection I have, every idea that I have, every thought that I have, everything that I can do to help you. I'm going to help you because I don't know how to hold it back. And so I need you to be all in, and I'm all in. That's my monthly unlimited coaching program, where I give you everything that you need, maybe not everything that you want. Fair enough. $500 a month. Let's go. All right. So like something like that is like a custom high value program. And we can talk about how to structure high value programs. There's millions of ideas. So it doesn't really matter. The idea is that there is something of value at the end, and let's say that you charge $500 a month. Maybe you also charge the same program for $5,000 a year, so it's like 2 months discount if you commit for a year. All right, whatever. So now we've got a high value program. How do we get people into that high value program? I think you're on the doorstep here. It's like, well, let me do a 6-week challenge that can get you initial traction. And then at the end of that 6 weeks, it's like, who wants to keep the progress going? Join my premier mentorship. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, that's the ultimate goal, is to get these clients where, for which I take a deep dive into everything. And I've worked with many people. So at this practice, I mean, I worked with people after I graduated from Bowman College, before I took this position at the medical practice, and then worked with hundreds of people at the medical practice. And now I'm on my own again. So that is the idea, to get these clients that I could really go into depth with. But I'm struggling to do that. So I feel this is a marketing tool. And I mean, do you guys what's everybody's gut feeling about, in addition to what you get with this program, which is a whole nother conversation, which can be discussed, whatever, you get 20% off of a full one-on-one counseling package. Does that sound cheesy? Does that sound appropriate? Like, what's
As a general rule, I hate discounts.
Okay.
Because this is what I tell people.
Glad I asked.
Yeah, this is what I tell, so I run a swim school, and I have parents asking if I do discounts. It's like, discounts? I would never do that to you. I would never keep your child only 90% safe. I would never only coach your kid 90% of the way to their goals. I'm going to give you everything I've got. I don't hold anything back. I don't know how to do 90% of anything. I don't know how to do 80% of anything. I know how to do 100%. I'm all or nothing. And I demand that you be all or nothing too.
Okay.
And I love answering, if somebody asks if I offer discounts, I love answering like, no, I would never do that to you. because it totally reframes.
Yeah, that's a really helpful way to frame it.
Yeah. I would never let you sell yourself short. I would
Okay.
never let you achieve 20% less than what you want, than what you're capable of. Would never do that to you. Now, that said, sometimes I do discounts, right? But I don't frame the discount as a discount. I frame the discount as an investment. For example, look, here's the deal. Mentorship takes a lot. It takes a lot for me and it takes a lot for you. If you invest in 6 months, I'm going to coach you, for a year, something like that, where it's like, what is that? That's a 50% discount, but you're framing it in a way that's like, I want you to invest 6 months up front. And if you invest 6 months up front, not only am I going to work with you for those 6 months, but I'm going to work with you for a year because you're putting in 50%. I'm going to put in 50%. How does that sound?
That's really generous.
So it's like you can offer the discount, but never call it a discount. And it's the same way as like you're never offering something that's expensive. You're never asking for money. You're determining whether or not it makes sense for your client to invest in themselves by working with you.
Okay.
Because that's exactly what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
When was the last time you really invested in yourself? When was the last time you invested in solving this core problem? When was the last time that you tried a high value solution to this problem that apparently is pretty high value? Yeah, Shada.
Yeah, just trying. I'm trying to take note. You said you're gonna tell the client you invest 6 months, and you as a coach will invest. What was the next phrase or the next part of the
Yeah.
sentence that you
It
mentioned?
probably wasn't super well thought out. It was something like, look, here's the deal. You're trying to solve a long-term problem. Long-term problems take more than, usually take years, not months. And so I want to work with you for the time it takes to actually get you the results that you need to solve the problem that you're dealing with. If you invest in my program for 6 months, if you invest 6 months, I'm going to give you 6 months, more. It's like you give half, I'll give half. And together we'll work together for a year, something like that. It's just like, I mean, it's a 50% discount, but you're reframing it as a way of like helping the person understand that if they make a commitment to work with you for a year, put 50% of that commitment up front, then they're taking a risk on you, but I'm also taking a risk too, that like, I can get you to, your destination faster than a year. I can like get you to a point where it's like, you don't require the daily conversations that we need at the beginning.
Okay, great.
And so like Lee, kind of getting back to this question, it's like everything, and Mary, this is what we talk about with like telling a story. Everything that you do, if you run a group program, it has to fit into the overarching arc of what you're trying to accomplish. All right. So it's like you can run a 6-week challenge, totally fine. But the point of that 6-week challenge needs to prepare people to be ready for your mentorship, right? You can do a workshop. You can do a 1-hour workshop, but the 1-hour workshop is to prepare people for the 6-week challenge so that they can be successful in the 6-week challenge so that they're ready for the mentorship. Like all of these roads lead to preparing somebody for your highest value solution. So like what I would do in the gym is I would say, hey, come to a workshop. The end of the workshop, we're going to help you figure out the exact macronutrient breakdown that you need to get the results that you want for protein, carbs, and fat. A customized, personalized program just for you that you can follow that's going to get you to your goals, whether your goals are performance or aesthetic, doesn't really matter. Show up. All right, so I do an hour-long workshop. I help them understand what their personalized protein, goals are, what their carbohydrate goals are, what their fat goals are. And at the end of the workshop, I'll say something like, now raise your hand if you think that you can take this information and implement it 80% of the time for the next 6 weeks. Because if you can do that, you don't need my 6-week challenge. If you can't do that, and if you think you're going to need some help with accountability, implementation, and if you think you're going to hit some speed bumps along the way where you might need to modify your macronutrient breakdown, you should really sign up for my 6-week, accountability implementation challenge. And so now, and maybe the workshop is free and the 6-week challenge is $47, $89. It's still impulsive, but now they're investing in themselves. I run them through that challenge. And then everyone on that challenge is going to fall short of whatever goals they want for themselves. And so now each individual that falls short, I'm like, hey, Lee, I noticed that you were really committed in the first couple of weeks. I haven't seen you on a few calls. I noticed that your log, you're not keeping up with that. What's going on? And now I'm in a discovery call for my Premier Coaching. Does that make sense? Because what people say they want is not what they need. People say they want, oh, I just need my macronutrient plan. Oh, I just need a little 21-day challenge. Oh, I just need a 6-week challenge. It's like you've spent the last 10 years of your life systematically deciding that you don't want to move towards your fitness goals. And now all of a sudden you're going to wake up and like see the fresh air. Like, yeah, maybe if you had a stroke, maybe if you just, your best friend at 42 died of a heart attack. It's like, all right, yeah, you had a come to Jesus moment. Fair enough. Most of the people that you're working with aren't going to have a come to Jesus moment. So you need to help show them that, all right, cool, do it on your own. Oh, you failed. I care about you. Why didn't you do it on your own? That's what my core program helps you become the person who does this on your own. And the reason why you're failing is, insert whatever excuse you're telling me a few layers deeper. That's why you're falling short.
So, just quickly back to the question about that dirty word discount, which I'll never ever use, as sort of a dangling carrot for some of these people. Is there another way to articulate? Motivating them to do this program because it will kind of, I know, or I hope it will lead into a more of a mentorship, but like, what's the word I use to, give them a little bit of money off, or do I just not do that?
Well, there's this concept. So I do jujitsu. There's this concept in jujitsu where it's like you do a move and somebody blocks the move and that opens the door up for another move. All right. So it's like, I do move A, you block move A, and now the door is open for move B. So what some people will do is they'll fake move A to get the reaction so that they can do move B. Their plan was to do move B all along. So they fake move A. And that might work against junior people, but it doesn't work against senior people. The thing is that you actually have to try to do the move. Like, you have to give move A 100% to get the reaction to open the door to move B. And then you go down that path at 100%. It's like these fake little moves don't work. You commit all in and then know the reaction. How that analogy connects, how I'm going to stick the landing here, it's going to be beautiful. Everyone's going to be really impressed. I sincerely hope that my 1-hour workshop solves all of the nutrition frustrations that you have in your life. I sincerely hope that in an hour, I can change your life. Now, for some people, that's not going to be possible. For some people on the call, we're going to need to work together for 6 weeks. And if the program, if the workshop didn't help you get to where you want to go, I want to keep working with you because I've got a 6-week program that I think can really help you. And now I really want that 6-week program to work for you. I want all of your problems and frustrations to be resolved at the end of that 6 weeks. But unfortunately, not everybody has a 6-week problem. Some people have a year-long problem. And so at the end of that 6 weeks, I want to look at everybody, who isn't at their goals, and I want to invite them to continue working on themselves. So it's an honest workshop. It's an honest challenge. It's an honest invitation to custom work. If I told you at the beginning of the workshop that if you participate in the workshop, I'll give you a discount for my custom services, then it's clear I'm just trying to like get you to join my program. But that's not what I'm trying to do. I am genuinely trying to solve your core frustrations as quickly as possible.
Okay,
Now-
so don't do it. Is that?
Yeah. Now, what I
Okay.
might do is like, look, you invested $89 for this 6-week program. I really want you to be committed to my custom program. Since you've already invested in me, I want to invest in you. I'm only going to charge you, $411 for your first month.
But that's sort of a later conversation and it's private and all that. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's like, I don't want to overwhelm the person. I like the purpose of the title is to get people to open the book. The purpose of the first sentence is to get them to read the next sentence. Like we're guiding them through the journey of our business, and they don't necessarily need to know all of the steps because we're just going to tell them what the right next step is for them.
Okay, thank you. I have more questions, but I want to let others,
Yeah.
discuss their stuff and then,
This
I can
is-
get to it another time, but thank you.
Yeah, no, this is a phenomenal topic. Mary, did I see, I know Myra, your hand is up. Mary, did I see you raise your hand?
Yes, it went back to the question of the discount. Should I be offended if someone asks me for a discount?
No, you should be excited because it's an
Mm.
opportunity to help you reframe with them. Oh,
Mm.
I get a discount. Discount? I would never do that to you. I would never coach you 80% less. I would never let you, only get 80% of the results that you want. Why on earth would you want a discount?
So here's the thing, you also just confirmed something else. So again, personal training for years, it was going very, very good. Then things happen. Then years back, I started doing discounts and putting out challenges to get money. Then I stopped. And then now I know certain people, oh, let me know when you're having a discount again, Mary. Let me know. And so for years I stopped. But then what I will do is, and I think this is a scarcity mindset, and you just, I know it's probably something I have to work on, but I have $1,500. I know I'm undercharged, know that I'm undercharging, but I'll say if you pay in full, it'll be $1,375.
Yeah, that's fine.
I
Look,
sh-
I'm totally good with that. Hey, here's the deal. I offer month to month because I want you to only be here if you want to be here. But if you commit to me, I'll commit to you. So if you pay for 10 months, I'm going to work with you for a year. If you pay for 6 months, I'm going to work with you for a year. So you can do the bulk discount, but you never call it a discount. It's a commitment. If you
Okay.
commit to me, I'm going to commit to you. And it also makes sense because if I know that you've committed for a year, now we're working on a year-long plan.
Mhm.
If you're committed to a month, I've got every month, we're working on a new, it's like every month I got to demonstrate my value. I got to like, it's a lot more work for me to work with you month to month because I need to make sure that you're getting month to month goals. But if you're sitting here today and you're saying, I'm committed to a goal in a year, then we can have a few slow months,
Okay.
right?
Makes sense. Makes
Like,
sense.
I hired a business coach 3 years ago, and like we're solving year-long problems. We're solving lifetime problems. So like I pay him $1,900 a month, and like some months he's like on vacation for the whole month. Doesn't matter. I don't care because we're solving problems that are fundamentally changing my life. I don't care about a month for the types of
Okay.
problems we're trying to do. He helped me start a summer camp program that generated $168,000 of revenue. Like I care about a month.
Right.
You're doing the same thing for your clients. You're helping them solve problems that they've been dealing with for years and years and years.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, thank you. That definitely made sense. And as well, I did want to tell you after our last call, and I told you I had a client. She came in and she's an entrepreneur as well, does hair, And she just said, you know, from one entrepreneur to another, she also want to let you know that you are pretty cheap. And she was, and I looked at her and I immediately thought about what we talked about. And she said, yeah, for what you're providing, your home, your space, how it looks. She said, yeah, I'm just letting you know, you're kind of like 33 or close to $40 an hour, you know. And she said, yeah, you're really undercharging. You know, and I value your service, but you really, she said, we're almost in 2026, Mary, probably need to, you know, increase your prices. So it's just confirmation with what we were talking about when I told you 40 and you said 140. So I will be working on that, and it starts with the mindset. So thank you. I will be working that. Just want to let you know.
100%. Let's see here. Myra.
Thank you. Yeah, lots of ideas just running around in my brain. Thank you, Lee, for bringing it up. I was thinking when you asked the question that maybe a credit for the next program might be used instead of a discount, like half of the money that you pay, or maybe a percentage of the money that you pay for the group program, you can use it as a credit if you want to continue with another service of yours. But again, I'm just, now I'm having mixed feelings about it. Still, it would sound, if you say it up front, it would sound that you are still trying to sell your next service. So I'm just, going between the ideas.
Yeah, there's a really successful entrepreneur in the gym space called Alex Hermosi, and he wrote this book, $100 Million Money Models. Buy it or not, I don't know. I don't know if it's, I mean, it's probably pretty cheap if you do buy it. But anyway, one of his money models in here is something that he used in the gym that I find fascinating. I haven't done it, but I find this model fascinating and it could work. It's like when you run your challenge, it's a $300 challenge. But here's the deal. If you meet all of these milestones and are successful in the challenge, I will give you your money back, right? I'll give you your money back in the form of, $500 of credit that you can use in the gym, personal training or whatever, or I'll just give you a refund. Whatever. I want you to be successful. And the money that you're investing is how I, get you to commit to something and actually follow through with it. So I don't care if you're connecting with all your macros, checking in with your coach and doing all the work just to get your money back, like, cool. Like, I want you to get your results. And if I help make an early transformation in you and that costs me $300, well, I might have probably already done that for free anyway. And this is just a clever way of me getting you to invest and then give you your money back. And then also it's like, if you just worked with me for 6 weeks and got tremendous results, and I offered you $500 to use, to your first month of like custom one-on-one coaching to get even more results, you'd be like, yeah, give me that free month. So what did I just do? Like, I had you prepay for your first month of coaching fundamentally, and then I onboarded you through 6 weeks of sales calls.
That's the thing. The wording and how we present it is the critical thing, right? I mean, we are all trying to help our customers or clients, but really what you are saying is that I'm here for you. My success is your success. So, and whatever I do is I'm doing it for you. I'm your partner in this. And if you like, that is the focus. I think that's the thing that separates us from the other. Well, I'm thinking like I'm giving a health service as well. So in fact, I'm not like a regular health service provider. I'm your buddy in this journey.
Totally. Like, that's everything. I believe every coach is fundamentally the same. I want to teach you everything that I know as quickly as possible so you don't need me as soon as possible. Right? It is my goal to be fired by you very quickly. That's my goal. Like, how do I do that? I teach you everything I know and I make sure that you internalize it. How do I know that you're internalizing it? Because your actions demonstrate that you've learned the lessons. Right? So if your job is to help, you know, help a client achieve certain health outcomes, I mean, I'll just jump to like obvious examples. You're working with someone who's 400 pounds, they want to weigh 200 pounds. Okay, perfect. We need to become the 200-pound person. We need to embody the habits of somebody who's 200 pounds lighter. It's my job to help you become that person as quickly as possible. Because once you become the person who does the habits of a 200-pound person, you will eventually become 200 pounds. So I don't care if our journey stops when you're 380 pounds. I care our journey stops when you become in action that 200-pound person.
Love this. Thank you.
Yeah. Who is iPhone 2? Who is how do you feel about building a community first? Oh, Mary. Okay, cool. Honestly, it's the same thing. It's the same answer that we started the call with. I find it very difficult to have the ability to start a community without one-on-one traction. Because you're not really like, I find the one-on-one work is so unbelievably important to really understand the essence of what people are struggling with. And when you understand their essence, now you can build a community around solving early stage problems. So I mean, really the reason you can think of this call as a little community, right? What's the problem? Fundamentally, people want to be entrepreneurs and they think it's about tactics, but it really is about mindset. It's about reframing how you see the entire world. You need to start seeing the world as an entrepreneur. Things don't cost money, things have value, right? Like, I'm not trying to make a sale. I'm trying to determine whether or not it makes sense for us to work together. I don't even know if I can help you. I don't have anything to sell you until I fully understand what it is that you're trying to achieve. And if what you're trying to achieve is what I'm really good at helping people achieve, I'll offer you the opportunity to invest in yourself by working with me. None of that is a tactic. All of that is a reframe. Entrepreneurs just see the world in a different way. Like, my wife and I looked at this house that we lived in, and like I was doing the calculations on like what our mortgage would be. I'm like, oh man, like, you know what? That's like 2 more clients a month, 3 more clients a month. That's like 5 more clients a month. I can figure that out. Like, there are no limitations when you own everything in your life. Like, everything that's on my schedule is on my schedule because I allowed it to be on my schedule. And so if I have a minute in my day that I don't love, that's my fault. Like, your entire life is get to do's, not have to do's. And the journey of becoming an entrepreneur is realizing that you do a handful of things better than anyone on the planet. And you need to craft your entire life to feed into those few small things that you do better than anybody else. And that's it. That's all you do.
So if everything goes back to mindset, and I know we talked about this, and I do believe that everything, and if you are on a journey to work towards that, to become the best version of yourself so you can help your clients, what would you say the very, 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 very first step is to do in order to start working towards that change in your mind?
I love this. Everybody's different, but the process, I think, is almost identical. It's like, if you're not religious on this call, hopefully my religious analogies will make sense to you, but it's like confession. Okay. Before communion, you know, it's like, why am I taking communion? I'm taking communion because I want to, you know, like I want to have a talk with God and I want to confess my sins in the attempt that I can reformulate, reconstitute myself as a better person following, you know, this ritual, let's say. All right. Like Catholics actually have like formal confession, whatever else. What does that mean? It's it's reflecting on your life. It's putting a mirror up to your life and saying, what is going on in my life that I wish was better? What is happening in my life that that didn't go the way I wanted it to go? You know, like if I'm really honest with myself, is my relationship with my wife as good as it could be? Was I a little short to her last night in our conversation about whatever? Did I did I did I really not have time to empty the dishwasher? You know, am I really giving everything I can to the people in my life that matter? Am I pursuing my, you know, hedonistic vices with too much vigor? You know, it's like, it's a reflection. Okay. So I think the entrepreneur should pay attention to two key mindsets: frustrations and procrastinations. And I've talked about this with a few of you guys. And this is how you get to where your mindset is faltering. Okay. So if you have a frustration in your life, in your professional life, in your business, in your entrepreneurial, you know, world, if and frankly, like I don't even think it needs to be the business. I think it just needs to be in general. If you are experiencing any frustration, then that frustration is an opportunity. By definition, it's an opportunity to not have the frustration. If I'm not communicating well with my wife, there's an opportunity to be communicating great with my wife. If I'm frustrated that I'm overweight, there's an opportunity to be in perfect harmony with my weight or whatever. If I'm frustrated that I'm not finding clients, there's an opportunity to find clients. Like you see, it's just definitionally, frustrations are opportunities. Definitionally. Like I guess it would be opportunity equals 1 over frustration. All right.
Okay.
That's it. And then what's a frustration? It's an opportunity. What's an opportunity? Opportunities guide you to actions. What do you need to do to seize the opportunity? Okay. So hold that in balance. Frustrations, you meditate on feelings. I notice a frustration. What is the opportunity behind this frustration? What is something I can do to move me towards seizing that opportunity? Then you have procrastination. Procrastination is, for the entrepreneur and for most people, it's, all right, so you can think of procrastination in one of two ways. Like, I think some people think of procrastination as like not doing things that frustrate them. So let's call those frustrations. That's when your soul is out of alignment from your action. All right. So it's like you procrastinate on things that you don't want to do, that you don't like to do. So your entire life is out of harmony. You know, it's like that's a frustration. Okay. So if you're procrastinating because you hate those repetitive tasks, then you need to change those repetitive tasks. That's an action you can take. The other category of procrastination is you are at the edge of your knowledge. You're at the edge of your experience. Your clients are at the edge of their experience. They are procrastinating taking action towards their health because they frankly just don't know what to do. They've tried everything and nothing's worked. They've done this, they've done that, they've done that. They just can't get traction. They listen to the podcast, they listen to the blog. It's like, I don't know what to do. Or I don't know how to get myself to do the things that I know how to do. It's like, gosh, I know I need to do this and do this, and do this. And I just, for whatever reason, I just don't do them. They're operating at the edge of their capabilities and at the edge of their ability, and they're procrastinating on the action. Okay. If you're procrastinating, the answer for procrastination is who can help me move forward? Not what do I need to do to move forward? So like if I give you $1 billion and I say, you know, here's 10 acres, build your dream home, but you can't use the internet and you can't talk to anybody. Good luck. You know what I'm saying? You're going to sit on the money and you're going to sit on the materials and you're not going to know what the hell to do because who knows how to lay a foundation. Nobody,
Yeah.
except
Right.
for foundation layers. And so now I tell you, here's $1 billion, here's land, build your dream home. What's your first call? An architect, a developer, a contractor, a home builder? It's a person. It's somebody who's going to help get you unstuck. It's a coach, fundamentally.
Mm-hmm.
It's somebody who's going
Good.
to take you through a forest. It's somebody who's going to take you on a journey. It's somebody, you're stuck here. It's somebody who's taken people to here dozens of times, hundreds of times, thousands of times. It's somebody who this journey for them is what they're uniquely gifted at. Okay.
Right.
So how do you change your mindset as an entrepreneur? You meditate on frustrations and procrastinations. If you're procrastinating, you need to find somebody who can help you move forward. A mentorship group, a YouTube channel, a business, a social media, somebody who's going to give you the insight and the wisdom to move past the limits of your experience. And what I'm starting to realize is I spent 11 years spinning my wheels, doing everything myself until it got to a point where I could hire somebody to do things. Now, with a different mindset, I realized that I'm not the expert at that, and I jumped straight to hiring people to do it. So like, I used to sit around and like write all the emails. I had a call this morning with a guy who writes all the emails, does all the split testing, does all the A/B, basically does everything. Like if I spent 80 hours a week only focused on email marketing, I would be half as good at this guy. So why not just pay him $2,000 a month? Who cares? I can't afford not to pay him $2,000 a month. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
How I got there is I am frustrated that I feel like I'm the only one in my damn company that can write a competent email. I get emails back from my managers and I'm like, did you even go to high school? Like, do I need to teach you how to write a 5-paragraph essay? Do I need to teach you how to like be charming with your words? Like, what is wrong with you? This is the worst written communication I've ever seen in my entire life. And this is what you want to send out to 1,000 of our clients? So I noticed that frustration in my soul. And I thought about what the opportunity is.
That's good.
The opportunity could be to do remedial English written, education to all of my managers, or just hire the person who already has those skills. Because you know what? My managers are really good at teaching swim lessons, teaching jujitsu, doing personal training. They're so good at that they didn't spend apparently a huge portion of their life learning how to fucking write.
Right. Okay. So
that's what we do. You focus on what you're really good at. And like, I know the next question is like chicken or egg. It's like, I'm at zero. I can't pay the expert to do everything in my business. It's like, I'm at zero. That's the point of this call. The point of this call is that how do you find that initial traction to get to the point where you can start solving and outsourcing a lot of your core frustrations?
Makes sense. And meditate on your frustrations and procrastinations.
Yep.
Love that.
Okay.
And frustrations. Okay.
Now that we have a frustration isolated, now what we can do is we can say, all right, what action do I need to take to seize this opportunity? Okay. So that action, like a frustration might be a small problem or it might be an epic problem. It might be a small opportunity or it might be an epic opportunity. And so if it feels like you have an epic opportunity, if you feel like you've got to like solve this massive problem, then this is sort of the hierarchy that you go through. Okay. What does it look like when it's done and done well? What needs to be true for that to exist? What's the smallest action I can take that moves me in that direction?
Wait a minute. Can you send me these questions in the email? I need your question.
Yeah. Think about it. Where do I want to go? Why do I want to go there? What does it look like when it's done and done well? Geppetto looks at the North Star and he goes, what if this puppet was a real boy? That's where he wants to go. What does it look like when it's done and done well? I forget the 3 qualities that the fairy godmother says that Pinocchio has to fulfill before he becomes a real boy, but it's something like kindness, generosity, you know, like courage, something like that. And so it's like Geppetto dreams, prays, believes, thinks. He has a vision of what it looks like when it's done and done well. Well, this puppet becomes a real boy. What needs to be true for him to be a real boy? He needs to fulfill these 3 virtues.
Okay.
What's the next action that I can take that moves my puppet towards the direction of acquiring those 3 virtues? Well, let me send him to school.
Yeah.
You don't need to have the whole story written to figure out what to do with your puppet. You just need to know the next step. The next singular step is to send him to school. What happens when Pinocchio goes to school? He runs into some rapscallions. He gets caught up in Pleasure Island, you know, starts turning into a jackass, goes on an adventure to save his father from the belly of the whale, comes back up to the surface having, you know, tapped into his culture and becomes a boy. What a story. What an adventure. It happens one step at a time.
That's good. That's good. You need to write a book.
Ha. No.
Just saying. I'm just saying this is a good book. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know, like, so what is this? These are the meta lessons that I've learned myself and that I've noticed that everybody needs to learn who wants to exist in this world. These are the meta lessons that my mentor has taught me.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
you know?
What makes sense.
So, okay. So, does that answer the question? I think, Myra, were we answering your question?
It is, and it also brings more questions, which I'm happy with because then I can focus on them. What you are saying and what we are discussing about the circle community, I want to bring up another subject around it related with what I'm trying to do in October, if it's okay for everyone.
Yeah,
So
totally.
I had those frustrations that I'm just like in something in between frustrations and procrastination, which has both of you said about procrastination. Anyways, so I decided to take a step. I'm working like 3 days a week in a health food store, helping people choose their food and as well as their supplements. And this is a very nice small community, and they have a community like center that most of the time seniors go. So now in October, I decided to create a wellness circle. So I decided to this circle as a community rather than one-to-one. That comes to your question. What I have in my mind is just I'm going to offer an hour of wellness subject every week. And the subject will change every week, and people needs to pay to come to those, activities. And I'm going to have that from mid-October to mid-December. And my idea was and is to create one-to-one at some point in this journey. Like I'm focusing, my niche is oncology, cancer nutrition, but it's not easy to go there right away before creating a community. And that's now I'm thinking if it's just the right, path to take, or should I focus more on trying to find one-to-ones with a different, perspective?
Yeah, I mean, if you have the avenue to get a group, great. You know, like if you have the resources, let's say, like the problem is if no one in the world knows who you are and you have a hard time meeting people, it's very hard to get a group together. But if you know a lot of people and a lot of people know you, it's relatively easy to get a group together. You know, like I got this group together because I sent an email to the list and there was a few people that I've been talking to in a kind of one-on-one format. And I was like, oh, this would actually be way more valuable and efficient, I think, if I group this together. Well, the only reason I had all of those resources available was because of 3 years worth of investing in one-on-one work. You know, so it's like, if you have the group, fantastic, take advantage of the group. If you don't have the group, probably the easiest way to get to a group is through one-on-one work.
I got you. Thank you.
Yeah. Shenny. And so for, I have till 12:15. So if anybody, you know, if you got to leave right at 12, no offense taken. If you can stay, we can stay. Shenny, I'd like to get to your question if you have time. Cool. Do you want to summarize it for everybody?
Yeah. So I ran into someone I know the other day, and we were just kind of catching up, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? That kind of thing. And I said I was working on trying to get my business off the ground. I'm, doing my nutrition. And she's like, oh, I work with a personal trainer at a gym. He's been looking for somebody to, possibly partner with to provide nutrition counseling to his clients. So she connected me with him, literally just been texting him for the past 2 days. Like, so we have a call set up for next week to kind of get a better idea of like what he's looking for. And if we may even be a match, because, some of his questioning was like, oh, well, how long have you been doing it? I mean, technically it's been a number of years I've been training between getting my master's, doing the mentorship, getting all that. So, but then like, are you a registered dietitian? No. And so sometimes like, I feel like that's a hurdle in this field, like with the holistic, nutrition is sometimes people look at the more traditional path, but I didn't really focus on that. I just said what I did have and, just kept, the questioning and the conversation going. But anyway, I guess I had expressed to you, I believe that I'm kind of focusing on, women over 40, and, giving nutrition advice there, but also wanting to develop some sort of, plan, in the gym that women can use to build muscle mass and bone density. So just trying to figure out, like, can we work together on that? And also I want to keep myself open to just working with any of his clients and not just say, hey, like, I can only do the women over 40 thing.
Yeah. So there's a couple thoughts come to mind. The first is anytime that you're talking with another business or another, like another person who is business, like the personal trainer isn't your client, it's the portal to new clients. So think of this as like a business to business connection.
Yeah.
A discovery call is a discovery call, regardless of whether it's with a client or with another business. And what's the formula fundamentally of a discovery call? Well, the formula is I need to know everything that you want, need, like what drives you? Why aren't you doing it yourself? What value do you need from me? What are you looking for? What are you hoping is the best? What's the best possible outcome of us working together? It's all the questions I would ask a client. The person who's 200 pounds overweight, what have you tried in the past that's worked? What have you tried in the past that hasn't worked? Why now? Why 200 pounds? Why not 100 pounds? Why not 300 pounds? Like why? What is going on in your head? How did you get to this point? How did you let yourself get to this point? Was there something traumatic that happened? Was there, was it a gentle glide? Like one of my first clients at my gym was a former collegiate wrestler who now weighed 400 pounds. And he's like, 10 pounds after every season, then the last season happened and it's like 10 pounds came, then it was 30 more pounds, and then it was 50 more pounds, and then it was 100 pounds, and then running became hard, and then working out became hard, and then it was like 150 pounds. And at that point, like, what's the difference between 350 and 400? It doesn't even really matter, And so like that is the journey that he was on. Now, Mary, I don't want to like completely overshare, but Mary had like a stressful situation in her life, gained some weight, and it's like, there was a moment though, where that kind of happened. And there was a moment in Mary's life where conditions changed and the weight dropped. And so it's like, you really got to know everything about the person. In a business to business relationship, you really got to know what they want, like, does the personal trainer want more revenue? Maybe. Does the personal trainer want, like, is he working with a lot of clients who aren't getting the results aesthetically that they want because they don't do nutrition? Well, if they do nutrition work, then maybe he gets better before and after pictures and then helps his business. And that's what he wants. Those are two different scenarios. One,
Yeah.
you need to figure out a financial partnership that incentivizes him. And the other, you need to figure out how you can get his clients better before and after pictures. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
you just got to know what they want. And it doesn't
Right.
matter what they want. Just like a discovery call. I don't care what you want when we're in a discovery call. I don't. I just want to learn what you want. I can't change what you want. I can help you reframe what you want. I can help you think through what you want. I can ask insightful questions about what it is that you want to get to what you really want, you know?
Yeah.
But I can't change what you want. And then once I know what you want, I can then determine if I want to help you get there. Am I
Yeah.
qualified to help you get there? Is that a journey that I want to go on? When you start working with somebody, you are taking their burdens and putting them on your back.
Hmm.
And if those are burdens that you want to carry, that you like carrying, that you're good at carrying, hell yeah.
Yeah. Right.
The first answer to that question is see those conversations as a discovery call where you're trying to figure out what the personal trainer wants and how you can best serve the personal trainer.
Okay.
And then once you fully understand what he wants, if that would also benefit you, say, it sounds like what you want is more revenue, this, this, and this. Is that what you want? Yep. That's also what I want. What is it? What does it look like when it's done and done well? What does this partnership look like when it's done and done well? What needs to be true for that to exist? What's the first step that we can take that moves us in that direction? Boom, boom, boom.
Hmm.
Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then how it relates to positioning yourself for working with women over 40, for, you want to work with all his clients. That's just a conversation you have with him. You're like, look,
Yeah.
I'm trained across everything. I know how to do research on anything. This is what I do. I'm a part of a mentorship group, and there's all sorts of resources that I have at my disposal. My commitment is to only work with clients that I believe that I can help. And if I come across a client that I don't believe I can help, then it becomes my responsibility to find somebody who can help them with whatever it is that they're struggling with.
Hmm.
So you sort of come up with a framework that works for him. And then, part of that, you could say, I tend to specialize in women in their 40s, especially when it comes to strength and conditioning. I think, there's a lot of value that I can add there, but I can help anybody who needs the help that I can offer.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Cool. I think there might be, I got to figure this out. I think there might be some confusion over the start time. Jess Utula, I noticed you and Peter joined around 12. So we're about to end here in a couple minutes. So I don't want you to,
Oh, I thought we changed to 12 o'clock today.
did I
Yeah, I got an email.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Okay. Never mind.
no, it's all good. We're going to go till 12:15. So
Okay.
sorry for any confusion. I'll need to figure out what got to the bottom of that email. Anyway, we're here now. We're talking. I recorded this one so I can send it out to everybody.
That's great.
And-
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the primary theme of this conversation, I think, is the mindset of an entrepreneur, and we were kind of talking about just now with Shenny how to create a business to business relationship with a personal trainer. So it's actually kind of prescient that you showed up, Peter, as a personal trainer, someone with a background. What have you ever worked, like, obviously you're the nutritionist now. Have you ever worked in partnership with a nutritionist in the past in your personal?
I have, yes.
What did that relationship look like and how did that come about?
Well, not great. Because one of my clients decided she wants to use a nutritionist, but I think this nutritionist did not go through like a formal training. It more like, like a crash course. So she was all about, counting macros. And I kind of disagree with some of her philosophies. So this is while I was studying under PGU. Because for a 135-pound woman, the protein intake should not be 160 grams. That just way too much for the kidney to process, in my opinion. So she's, it's like very general. She's specialized in weight loss. Um, so I had a exchange with her, emails, just discussing about philosophies and just giving my 2 cents about her approach towards everything. And it was just too complicated because she did not provide exactly like suggestions. She was just like weigh every meal, weigh all the ingredients, and just became too overwhelming for my client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what it sounds like is there was a little bit of a uh I don't know, like disagreement in philosophy.
Yes.
You weren't
Correct.
there wasn't alignment in a philosophy,
No.
which I get. Like I've met a lot of nutritionists, and I've like considered bringing a few of them into helping me with the gym stuff. And I always look for like, what is your approach to nutrition, and do I agree with that approach?
Mhm.
So, Shenny, that might be some, value there, is like, ask questions around what his approach and axiomatic presuppositions are on a nutritional approach. So, okay, cool. Well, Jesse Tula, how did your meeting go last week with that business?
Well, it went well. The only thing I did was just to submit the letter. I couldn't speak with anybody. Just to submit the letter, and that was it. It was acknowledged and stamped, and they'll get back to me. I'm yet to get any response though.
Well, you submitted the proposal. That's all you can do.
That's all.
Cool. And it was stamped acknowledged.
Yes.
All right, cool. Well, look, we've got 6 more minutes. I can go to the list, or if anybody has any questions about what we've talked about thus far, feel free to dive in.
Sean, so I thought about our conversation from last meeting about, like a membership based like a package offering. So I have a consultation with a new client tomorrow. She approached me at one of the building gyms I train at. She just older lady, just recently went through a hip replacement. So it turned out that was her second hip replacement. And she also had knee replacement. So she called her the bionic woman. Um, so I've seen her in the gym a few times, give her some pointers, how to use some equipment, the TRX. So she approached me last Friday asking me if I could get a session with her, basically teach her how to get off the ground. So I was like, it's not as simple as that. I have to see her range of motion, and she kind of briefly filled me in about her injuries in the past, her, limitations. So I think tomorrow I'm going to approach her based on the content that we discussed about last week. So more of a holistic approach rather than, hey, here's a session. These are the things that you need to do. More like make it more educational and motivational, and not only focus on the fitness, but the nutrition and the lifestyle as well.
I love it. I can't
Yeah.
wait to hear how it goes.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
I'm
think
excited about it.
I think it's great. Cool. Good stuff.
So I'll let you guys know next week.
Cool. Suzanne, would you like to talk about anything in the 4 minutes we have left?
Gosh, I came totally unprepared, I'll be honest.
It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, I think what really resonated, what I heard was I'm in that procrastination category because I've been like, oh, I've been so busy with school and, and my job, and I just need to make it a priority. And it's my choice. I need to own it and just like block out time on my schedule so my mind can focus on it. Because right now I just feel like my mind's not there and I need to make room for it.
Yeah. So the way that I think about that is like, my mind's maybe you need to make room for it, but if it was important enough to you, you wouldn't need to make room for it. Room would just appear for it. So what's holding you back from wanting to make room for it?
I mean, honestly, I think I've been taking on too much. I mean, I'm training for an ultra and I have 2 jobs and I really want to, because I'm working with a couple clients already and they're like even, you know, oh, they're offering to help me, you know. So I
So
just need,
this is exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, we'll talk about this more next week, but we should put this in the sheet because you're you've got a lot on your plate, right? And you've got so much on your plate that you're like, oh gosh, I just need to figure out how to like find time to also start a business. You know what I'm saying? Like no amount of like nothing, no amount of tactics, no amount of like carving out time is actually going to get you to start the business. You know, like you might make some traction towards it, but it's like there's not enough room on your plate. You've got to eat some mashed potatoes or you got to push some mashed potatoes off your plate to make room for the steak or whatever else you want, you know? So it's like there's another, like a lot of what we were talking about today is like, what's the mindset of an entrepreneur? Here it is. Here's another approach to think about what the mindset of an entrepreneur is. You got to know your purpose. You got to have great relationships. You got to have an abundance of time, and you got to have like a healthy relationship with money. If you have those 4 preconditions, then it unlocks the opportunity to work on your health or, you know, higher order things. Like if you don't have time, you can't focus. Like think about your clients, right? If your client has no time, you know, you're working with a lawyer who's, you know, 90-hour weeks and, you know, stressed to the gills, has horrible relationship, you know, when he comes home, has a horrible relationship with his wife and kids, like stressed all the time, maybe has an abundance of money, doesn't have a clear purpose of, you know, why he wakes up in the morning and works as hard as he does. Is that person going to focus on their health? Like you can do a GI map and, you know, really like dive into it and give him the best meal plan in the world. Nothing's going to change until his relationship with time changes, until his relationships with his relationships changes, and until he has an improved relationship with his purpose. And so that's fundamentally the same challenge to you, Suzanne, that we can think about. It's like, you don't have to give things up. You just have to realize that until we reprioritize where the business falls into your life, that you can't realistically expect anything with your business to change.
agreed.
So cool. Topic for next week. And so for those of you who joined us a little later, in the meeting invite, there's a link to a Google Doc. Go into the Google Doc, type out your questions, and maybe Shada will, perfect. There's dated agenda. So I think like each week we can I don't want to delete the stuff that we've talked about because I think it's valuable to kind of look back and see the types of things that we were discussing. So go ahead and like type your questions into that Google Doc or show up to the call. And if there's anything that you want to talk about, just make sure to put it in the chat so I can be aware of it. And hopefully everyone who's on these calls gets as much value out of them as possible.
Sean, I just want to say thank you very much for this opportunity. I just have to say thank you. I really appreciate it and I really value it. So as a coach, and I just have to say it. So I really thank you. Thank you.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for listening and participating. Can't wait till next week. Might have to do this 2 times a week. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
Guys.
Bye.